Hey Cancers, and welcome to your June 2019 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead. And as you can see, things look a little bit different this month. You guys had an extra card jump out, and sometimes I don't include them, but I felt that I should in this reading, so you guys have central themes for the first 2 weeks and the second 2 weeks of the month. We are moving towards Cancer season. It's getting closer and closer, and anyone that has a lot of Cancer placements that I've known can feel that coming on. It's almost like a storm is brewing. It's almost like you can feel the shift coming. I think that there is a strongly intuitive sense within you about what is and isn't right in your life, and a calling to make the appropriate changes regarding those things. I think that change is very imminent for Cancers, or they want it to be. Perhaps things aren't changing quickly enough for you. Perhaps you feel like there's a bit of stagnation on what you want to see changing in your life, and there's also a desire to really get into that and to mold that into maybe even in some of your cases force change. And not that that is bad for some of you. I feel that you have to allow things to naturally end as well. There are natural endings definitely coming about this month for you. You guys have the world and death in the same reading, which is one of the most ultimate combination of ending energies. Your life will definitely change after the month of June, and you will see a big resurgence throughout the month that basically triggers that. So there's a resurgence of old things which comes in, a resurgence of perhaps dead leaves that have been remaining for a while that you do shed after this month as you move through your season. There's also a lot on the line, or I feel that a lot of you feel like there's a lot on the line. There's a sense of pressure, perhaps putting pressure onto other people or having pressure put onto you, which also deals a lot with this oncoming change. You are celebrating, though, something in this month, and you are feeling very creative. 4 of Wands, Page of Wands, King of Wands, and also 5 of Wands to a degree. There is a creative outlet that is spurred by this sense of change that comes on here, as well as a defensiveness and a worry, a pattern of anxiety, which drops too through this transformation. So one thing that I feel that Cancers have to be careful of during this time is channeling all of their needed transformation onto external sources. So really requiring that other things change, really getting caught up or nitpicky about things which are outside of you that you want to change. What else within you do you want to change? Like, change is an odd thing. When there's a desire for transformation, or there's a desire for a transition or transformation in your life, it can sometimes show itself in weird ways, and there can be a lot of focus devoted to individual things which may not actually solve the needed transformation for you. So I want you, if you're seeing things that you want to change in your life, I definitely want you to sit with it for a minute and think about, is this actually something that needs to change, or is this like an incessant scrambling coming from within? The 9 of Swords coming up as a central theme, 7 of Wands. Both of those cards deal with this constant sort of sense of anxiety, this constant sense of opposition, of feeling like things aren't right, worrying, even paranoia for some, and just anxiety for the sake of anxiety. I feel that Cancer really has to work on that this month, and with the transformations that inevitably come on your external world, you have to see that it solves this sense of anxiety, or this sense of, constant seeing of what isn't right, or constant, like being overtaken by what you can find yourself feeling not right. It does feel like Cancer has been overtaken this month, or if coming from May, perhaps there is something that makes you feel overtaken, or makes you feel overwhelmed, or just sort of not fulfilled. Things are good, but something is just not quite fulfilling you. And you have the world in death, so that won't happen much longer. It'll end, but will there be something from that you wish to bring forward? It is important for Cancer to get a bit choosy with what they want to bring forward, and really making what is in their lives that wants to stay, or that they want to stay, known of its appeal. So like not holding back compliment, not holding back niceness. Not that Cancer does this. Cancer is one of the nicest, most like nurturing signs of the zodiac. But with Saturn and Pluto going retrograde in your opposite sign, there can be a bit of a change, and perhaps not the most positive change, actually. Like Cancer can, during this time, come off as quite what do I want to say? Naggy in some cases, or seeking of problems, like not looking at the positive, but like really seeking out problem areas. They find one, they bring it up, they find another. It's like constantly finding the patchwork which is frayed energetically, is what I'm hearing, while fraying their own patchwork to do so. So the aura, the energetic protection system, is easily dismantled by your own incessant desire to see the problems around you. So striking at problems around you, which aren't really your problem, ends up in you breaking your own auric field, and you have to be careful of that this month. The auric fields are slightly more delicate during this time, and you have to put in a little bit of focused effort to maintain them. I'm definitely feeling. On the positive side, the changes that you do introduce into people's lives do not go, what do I want to say? They are not invalid, or they are not in vain. The changes are not in vain that you inspire in other people. They've become very helpful, but the way of inspiring them has to be looked at. So, how do you inspire people around you to help you, or to be with you? All of these things will be very beneficial to come to new conclusions with, because that's just where I'm feeling a lot of transformation actually happens for Cancer, is how they connect with people who are quite close to them. It's not feeling very shallow. It's not feeling like very platonic or very like easy relationships. It's feeling like your deep relationships really transform you during this month. So you have to look for the fairness. I feel like justice will come up soon, perhaps next month or later, because it feels like there's a karmic evening that starts happening here, where you really see the same thing that you do. What do I mean by that? You see what you don't like in other people, and this is very connected into what you don't like about yourself. Likewise, vice versa, you're healing so quickly during this time. You're healing wounds from within so quickly, and you've seen so clearly what you don't like about yourself that you kind of hold people to a higher standard, which isn't a bad thing. But I would just definitely urge most Cancers to make sure that they're not being so intense about helping somebody else, or, enforcing somebody else changing, that it actually comes off as them punishing somebody else. So your helpful, nurturing hand can be interpreted as a punishment or as a meanness during this time if it comes from a shallow or combative place. Because that's not really in the nature of Cancer. You're not a shallow sign. You're not a combative sign. You're not a nitpicky, naggy sign. And I don't know why your energy presents that way this month. Perhaps it's because you feel like very antagonized by the people around you. You feel like other people around you won't support you, or won't what do I want to say, like enforce your moral codes into their lives, and it's like it's very close, and maybe you've done that very quickly or easily for them. But I just gotta say, there's something about Cancer that perhaps doesn't even mean to be this way, but nonetheless it is, and it doesn't need to obliviously be like clawing at other people, because it just winds up alone is the problem. So I feel like these messages are heavy and hard, but Cancer really is one of the signs that doesn't get away without consequence during this time, and none of the signs do. We've got Saturn, Pluto retrograde, Jupiter retrograde. It's not a time where you can make a lot of mistakes and not suffer any type of consequences. But there are so many Cancers who are so kind-hearted and wonderful out there, who are helping build up. So again, not all of these messages will resonate for everyone, but I just definitely suggest that all Cancers look to what they expect from other people, okay? Because there's something about what Cancer expects from themselves being interpreted as a slight when other people don't implement the same thing. So understanding that people are different, understanding that blah, 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 all types make the world go round, is a good thing for Cancer this month. You have Wheel of Fortune, it's like things are orbiting, things are turning, and you have to beware of really fixating on things, really fixing things into place, really determining that one thing is right, and that one thing solves problems, and that one thing is the answer to all solutions, because you might see that those things are done and it doesn't even have an impact, and it's like all of this time and effort and energy is really accumulated into this one fixated thing that ends up just falling flat. Okay. And that's not a good feeling for Cancer. That's like a low, that's like a rock bottom potential for Cancers with these retrogrades happening, is that all of the effort, all of the concentrated energies, just by being perhaps too ego fueled or too connected to what you feel you're lacking within, really accumulating in some very like off center place over yonder is what I want to say. And it disconnects very suddenly, and all of a sudden there's like nothing there. There's just like a void, and you have to begin again. So that is a beautiful thing. Death in the world, there's a solid ending and a solid new beginning, and that is a place where Cancer does thrive. But it doesn't. There's it's so hard to articulate, you all, and there I have even myself perhaps a bit of frustration in the way that some of these messages are coming through, because I myself have a lot of Cancer, and a strong Cancer emphasis. So it's even hard for me to see that these fixations or these things which are, again, Cancer is not a fixed sign, it's a cardinal sign, but for some reason with perhaps these retrograde Capricorn energies opposing you, it's like fixating your energy more, and it is icy, it is almost inaccessible. It's almost and it's far off. There's something about the energy that is far off for Cancers, where the accumulations are happening, where the emphasis is. It's far away from the actual issues. So I just want to bring that to light for some of you. For many of you, and don't let that freak you out. And how do you work positively with this type of energy? There's a lot of things that you can do to really, really easily feel better and to make your energy feel more placed in an area that is, constructive. First and foremost, Cancer, you can find comfort here. You can find comfort where you are. You can find comfort in seclusion for some of you, but that's not a very permanent solution either. Cancers need to be using their hands, exercising, getting into their body. There's too much time spent in stillness, I feel, with these retrogrades. There's too much time spent in a familiar action to where it almost becomes stillness, like the same job every day, the same people every day, the same food every day, and it's almost like you're not even moving through your life. It's just like this hazy, incremental cycle pattern that goes over and over and over again that just sort of starts to feel like stillness. Oh my God, this reading's hitting deep, isn't it? There's like a stillness that emerges through this mundane habitual cycle. Saturn retrograde, the cycles start to become weird. Like you look at your routine, you look at what you do every day. We spent so much time last year and at the beginning of this year making this routine, and here it is just becoming that stillness all over again. Death is here. The world is here. It can't go on the way that it is. Something about your life, Cancer, has to change, and I am here to give you a bit of a wake-up call. I'm giving myself a bit of a wake-up call, as well as someone with strongly emphasized Cancer placements. You have to wake up this month, and you have to see what is around you. You have to see the people who are there. Are they right? Are they compatible? And you have to see how you're holding on to those things and trying to shift them and mold them into compatible things in ways that are so far off that it's not really, it's just, what I see is, there are like those machines, those like slider machines where it like has like all these bodies and faces, and like you slide them and it's like a different face on a different body, a different legs on a different body and a different face. I see Cancer just like going through shifting, different, and nothing is ever right. Nothing is ever coming together. And you can, like, every time you're about to shift it, you're about to change your life, and it's like it shifts, then there's a new face, there's a new thing here and there. Transformation is kind of scorpionic, actually. And you've become so fixated by these retrogrades, and it's like you shift, you're about to, yeah, this is going to do it, this shift's going to do it, and then it falls flat. Okay, so we have to look at satiability, Cancers. We have to look at fulfillment. We have to look at what satiates you, what fulfills you, and what drives and motivates you in life, how you hold on to things. Cancer's grip during this time is so immensely powerful that you can really hold on to people to their own detriment. You can really hold yourself in a place that is not right for you. You can hold yourself and convince yourself that quite a nasty environment is now authentic. Vice versa, you can convince yourself that an authentic environment is quite nasty. There's a fixation that is so strong in the Cancer energy right now. And I didn't expect it to come on like this. I didn't expect your energy to be this. At the same time, I'm happy that the messages are coming through, because what waits on the other side of it, look at the Four of Wands, King of Wands energy. there is such celebration and such evolution into something so much more adaptable and so much more capable of enjoying its life there. So, are you enjoying your life, Cancer? I really want you to get out of this Nine of Swords, out of the Seven of Wands, Five of Wands place. No more combative arguments, no more conflict in the sense that it's just every day. No more illusions of transformation that actually don't change anything. Okay, really important for Cancer this month. I love you guys so much. Let's get into the week. I'm going to speed through the week to week. I've already talked so much about intuitive messages. Week number 1 in the month of June, the world rooted down by Five of Wands. No more combativeness, no more conflict seeming to be the solution to things. No more the anger response, the rage response. That's going to have a big transformation for you starting in week number 1 of June. You're going to find yourself no longer perhaps getting angry at the same things, or finding anger at things that you never have before. This anger has to be channeled in a new way. More exercise, more physical expression, more grounded activity, less habitual routine every single day. This, that stillness. You're bottled up here. Your emotions are bottled up. And this sounds like I'm almost like I'm doing a Scorpio reading or a Moon in Scorpio reading. And I feel that it also applies to that type of energy as well. So if some of you have Scorpio or Moon in Scorpio, these types of messages are going to be stronger because the Scorpio energy is connecting here. So I think maybe a lot of you are involved with Scorpios or just have Scorpio placements or something. And Cancer and Scorpio are actually very similar energies. They're both clawed water signs, both shelled, clawed water signs. So they have a lot in common. Cancer is just a bit more it's a bit more of a vacillating, flowing energy than Scorpio, where, again, Scorpio is more of a fixated, glacial, icy energy. And Cancer is moving more in that territory, so it's presenting very scorpionically this month. Week number 2, you have Page of Wands rooted down by Page of Pentacles. All about the other people in your life, all about who's here. Perhaps some of you are juggling more than one relationship. Perhaps some of you are, and I don't even mean that like cheating. Like it's like perhaps the relationship with a friend is really interfering with the relationship with a spouse, or perhaps you have two friends who are at odds with one another and you don't know how to keep the friendship. And then yes, for some of you there could be a desire to be romantically with more than one person that is coming up, and I would avoid it. I would not do it because that's just a distraction for you. I sense Cancer meeting a lot of new people or a lot of new people coming in, and it's like a distraction. It's like something that feeds also this fixation. I sense that a lot of people will come in who'll be like, yes, you need this addiction. Yes, you need this emotionally dependent cycle. Yes, you need to rebound. Or yes, you need to sleep with this person even though you're married. I sense antagonistic people coming in. So you, Cancer, have to work on your impressionability. Like bang, Cancer, bang. Like how impressionable are you right now? All the water signs can be impressionable, especially Cancer and Pisces. And when certain people come, or when a certain type of person comes in, their power of suggestion can be very great on you. So it's like just because they fulfill a certain connection to you, like a certain energetic splice, and it's fulfilled, like you feel nurtured, you feel connected to someone, you can very easily do someone else's bidding. It's not about you being manipulated. It's about you feeling like you got something you needed. It's about you feeling like that urge for transformation manifested something in for you. So watch out for someone who comes in like you've been maybe smoking for a really long time and you quit smoking, and then someone comes in and they're like, yeah, just have a smoke, and it's like because they've fulfilled something for you, you're like, yeah, they know best, and you start smoking again. Also for some of you, people can just influence you to like eat wrong or spend in ways that you can't afford. It's so easy for Cancer to like succumb to peer pressure is actually what it's all about. Peer pressure in the second week, watch out for it. Week number 3, Wheel of Fortune rooted down by Death. Big week for you guys. Like, whoa, such an injection of energy. You could feel like you're playing with your life during that time, toying with your mortality, toying with your life force and life essence, and that's what you have to be careful with during this time. I would recommend that you stay close to home, or that you stay close to comfort, and don't be recklessly transforming. Wheel of Fortune coming up with Death. I sometimes like it, I sometimes don't. Sometimes it feels like a haphazard transformation to me. It feels like a haphazard risk of like something is being denied in order to create a transformation, or it's like we're rolling the dice with everything that we have. So over gambling, over betting, overspending on the chance that buying that incredible outfit will get you the job over here, or on the chance that you know, I don't know, helping your friend in need and loaning them a bunch of money will make them finally sleep with you. There are things like this that come up for Cancer, where the sectors and the sectors become misaligned. So we have like our health sector, our love sector, our family sector, our career sector, and they start to misalign in transformationally. And that happens when you start to like try to use money to help the career sector, or you try to use health to affect the love sector, and you're not really operating in the correct sector. So Cancer really has to be aware of how they transform during that time. It's paramount because, if you roll the dice right, it could be incredible, and like your life could change, like lottery energy. Some of you could win the lottery in the third week. Some of you could, you know, meet the person who's like the 1% elite billionaire and who falls head over heels in love with you. These types of experiences are opening up to Cancer, but you have to remember that nothing in life is free, okay? Except for what you can give yourself and the emotional environment that you give yourself. Those things are free. But when it comes to other people, expectations build here. We are in a Saturn Pluto retrograde, and especially during this period of time, nothing is free. Silent debts can accrue. People can feel like indebted to you. And I don't mean to go down the YouTube spiral, but like look at James Charles and Tati. That is very evocative of this type of energy, like silent debts. I'm not going to make any statements on that whole situation. I don't care a lot about it. Like, no statements again on anything about that, but it's like, you know, people kind of come and say, you were supposed to give me this. I gave you this. You were supposed to give me this. People like to, during this time, establish an amount of something that is worth the amount of this. So, unphysical debts, like you did this, therefore I was owed this, and you did this for them, and therefore I'm collecting this debt in this different way by views or whatever. Cancer has to watch out for this too, especially for those of you that are YouTubers. I'm just kidding. But you guys have to watch out for people expecting things from you, and like watch out for the types of debts that you do get yourself into, like you from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Like you can be like, oh yeah, you can introduce me to your friend who's in that industry, and I'll like come by your office and do something for you. And you say it like off your breath, and you never expect to do it, and then you see 2 years later when you've gotten really big that like some kind of statement comes out of talking about how you lied in a corporate sense. It's like things from this period of time can stick to you. And your word, throat chakra, what you remember of what people said, what people come in to say, and what you say during this time tends to be called out on. So be careful with what you say. At the same time, you can't do any white lies by omission or anything like that. So we're held accountable for what happens during this time, and also for like the good actions that we do, the good deeds that we do. Week number 3, you might see positive karma come back too. You donated to charity, or you helped someone in their time of need. You could see that during your time of need, someone comes in and gives you an easy connecting point to the new paradigm for you. Very, very possible for Cancer. Also, I feel that you're super protected. You're super protected when it comes to like your health, your well-being, and stuff like that. This is all coming from the way that the cogs in the mind discern. So what you interpret as trauma, or what you interpret as deal breakers or big problem areas, that's all that's all that has to do with here. It's all within, not having to do with people putting you in danger, or people like having a vendetta against you. There's not really any of that. It's just about people's expectations and sort of the silent evocation of what that's going to look like in the future. Okay, week number 4, 4 of Wands, read down by King of Wands. I like it when there are dualistic numbers. Week 4, 4 of Wands. Sudden transformation, beautiful. Some of you are stepping into an incredible paradigm there, an incredible shift. I think through the first 3 weeks of the month, you are seeing what I'm talking about, in the sense that you have to find positivity. You have to find, even if it's not positivity, comfort in the way that things are before they change drastically. Treating others as you want to be treated, really being honest, things like this, because you walk into honesty, you walk into adventure, you walk into happiness, and just people devoutly loving you if you've been able to do that yourself. It's just right there. It's easy. There's an easy reflection on the fact that you get what you give. And you can see that other people try to toy with that too. Like, other people try to really determine, like, you gave this, therefore I give you that. And it's like their ego kind of jumping all over it. And in cases like that, you just have to move on. You have to really cut off incompatibilities, or respectfully and honestly provide, like, your truth about the matter. And these types of things just aren't that fun to look at, but isn't it so evocative of what Cancer's going through? Seven of Wands being the central theme for that period of time. You can see that people are coining you unpopular, or being in opposition to some of your ideas. Of course, you're on higher ground. It's not going to pull you down. It's not going to even perhaps be that evident or that obvious, but you feel it. And this is why you have the drive to transform and change right now. And the question is, will you just stand on the platform with the opposition changing masks? And there's nothing that changes around you. You have to worry about that. You don't have to worry, is not the right word, but you have to take an active plan on how you transform. Is it just a shift in the mask? Is it just a shift in the outfit? Is it just a shift in, what you're saying? Or is it something truly able to change things around you? Nine of Swords was your central theme for the first 2 weeks. Something is just not negotiable for you. Something is not feeling fixed. Something is, and there's a sense of being undermined perhaps as well. And you're trying to fix it. You're trying to work on it. Follow your gut, follow your instinct, follow your inner knowing, and don't let that be clouded by, this thing over here, over yonder is going to fix this. I can worry, but with time, that's just going to naturally resolve. You do have to get a little bit active in your resolution here, and your resolution has to be something that comes from a really honest and honestly positive place. Desires for transformation that come from a negative viewpoint only end in negativity. Vice versa, Cancers can be more negative during this time. It's easy. And then there are many Cancers who will shine brightly and be beautiful and have fun, have eccentricity, and transform in really positive ways. A lot depends on your chart, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this reading off here, everyone. I'm feeling a little bit drained from it, and I hope that the messages came through. I certainly mean no harshness toward Cancer. Again, I have a lot of Cancer placements, and I have a lot of that energy coming in for myself, and I find these types of messages to not be negative. They're more so just, a heart-to-heart about the things that we have to fix, because a lot's retrograde, and retrogrades inevitably bring up things that need to be fixed. So here we are. And thank you all so much for subscribing and liking and commenting. And be sure to check out your sun, moon, rising sign if you would like a different opinion on the energies coming in, because those could be very accurate for you as well and change up this energy quite a lot. So you can check those out below if you want to go over to my channel. Likewise, I have my new ebook, Moon Symbols, coming out, which goes through your moon sign. Really good for Cancers because you guys are ruled by the moon. It goes through your moon sign, the house that it's placed in, the phase of your moon, and what being born under it means, and how you can utilize it to heal. So you can click the center of your screen if you would like to give that a pre-order. It's coming out in July. And thank you all so much for being here. My details are below if you would like to get to know me more. We'll be talking soon, Cancers. Bye.